y'all, I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are you drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer for the night is Front Porch Pale Ale, crafted by Folklore Brewing and Meadery in Dothan, Alabama. 6% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. A smooth American pale ale brewed with German malt and West Coast hops for a crisp, refreshing finish. The front porch is where we enjoy picking and grinning in the cool night air. Settle in with a glass of the brewmaster's favorite on your own front porch. It's best enjoyed with friends. What I have to say about this beer is I believe that it is an excellent American-style pale ale. It's exceptionally smooth all the way around. Just really good. This is added to my list of favorites that we've had so far. I really like it. Did you like it?
I only took a sip of it because I'm not supposed to be drinking right now, but it was really good. I liked the way it tasted. It was crisp and fresh, but it wasn't so bitter that I couldn't keep drinking it if I could, so I liked it.
It's definitely not overly bitter. It's really, 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 really good. I give it a 9.5 out of 10 overall. The shot in the dark for the night is Cathead Honeysuckle Vodka. We've had it on the show before. It's produced and bottled by Bottle Tree Beverage Company in Jackson, Mississippi. 35% alcohol by volume. If you want to hear the full review, please refer to episode 2. I gave it a 7 out of 10 originally because I wasn't liking vodka at the time, but I've come to really enjoy vodkas doing this show. And upon reflection, I'm changing that to an 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
It's really good. It mixes almost perfectly with cranberry juice. It just fits. It's really good. I recommend trying it. Again, if you want to hear our full thoughts, go to episode 2, but they might be a little outdated by now. So
it's a really good shot, too. Real
really sweet and smooth.
Tastes like honeysuckles.
Oh, yeah. It's really good. And we have another specialty drink this week because not only is Leah almost done with the shingles, she was also diagnosed with pneumonia this week.
And pleurisy. Don't forget that.
And pleurisy. Which is a swelling of the lungs, right? Of the lining of the lungs?
The outer lining of the lungs, yeah.
Gross.
And it's very painful in case no one knows what that is, because I didn't.
But the show must go on. So we're doing the show. Leah's not drinking.
Because I am on a buttload of antibiotics and steroids. So.
Yes. So what she is having is Red Rock Golden Ginger Ale. Produced under the authority of Red Rock Licenses in Atlanta, Georgia by Clayton Distribution Company, incorporated in Austell, Georgia.
Damn, that's complicated.
I think it's Austell. It might be Austell, Austell.
I don't care.
I don't care either. But this is a soda, so it's 0% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Over a century of just the right bite, with an exclamation point on the end of that. Now, since Leah's the one drinking it, I'm going to throw it over to her. Leah, what's your review?
Tastes like ginger ale mixed with a cream soda. It's weird. It's very gingery on the end.
Kind of like a Verner's?
Yeah,
bit.
I like it, but I wouldn't drink like a lot of this. It's not one of those sodas that you can like drink a bunch of. Not that you should with any soda, really, but
no. You shouldn't.
Like I can suck down an orange soda like nobody's business. This is not the same thing. It's a sipping soda, just like you'd expect. And I bet you could put a little bit of vodka in that and it'd be delicious. But
yeah. I bet that would be good.
You know, black lung pop.
Yeah, you don't need to take any risks, I believe. So Leah's not drinking again, and her voice may be a little
iffy?
Different, I guess, but like I said, the show must go on.
Yeah,
we have to produce.
But bonus for me being sick, I get to be sober driver when we're all going to, and that's why we drink tomorrow. So,
well, this will be out by the time we've already gone.
It'll be out by the time that we release this. But I'll be putting some pictures of us at that show on Instagram, so y'all look for that because we're gonna have a darn good time. Even though Leah is gonna be sober sister over here.
Leah won't be able to breathe, but we're gonna have a great time.
Yep, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so that's it for everything that we're drinking this week. And don't forget, that if anybody's going to be around Atlanta next week on the 12th, I will be at the Variety Playhouse seeing Doug Loves Movies. I don't have anybody to go with yet, so we're going to find out. Leah's got to stay home to
be in a musical.
Yeah, to do her stuff. But on August 12th, I will be at the Variety Playhouse to see Doug Loves Movies. I've got a ticket. I've got 2 tickets, but,
yeah.
Right now I got to find somebody to go with, and I haven't yet. But I'm going to be there, so.
Huzzah.
That's about it. I don't think anybody wants to hang out. No. I don't care. I'm still
no
gonna
one
go.
loves us, but we love ourselves, so it'll work.
Oh, gross.
And also, good news this week, we have been downloaded in all 50 states plus Washington, D.C.
Woo!
Isn't that exciting?
Global takeover is almost
national
complete.
Takeover. We've got like 29 different countries, though. That's
global
a freaking lot.
Almost complete.
It's pretty rocking.
It's only like 180 more countries.
Delaware, I'm ashamed of you for a second because it took you so dang long. But
welcome,
I appreciate it. Welcome on board, Delaware. We love you. We see you. We respect you.
I see you, Delaware.
And you put us over the edge, and I appreciate that. And keep sharing with your friends and your family.
Delaware.
Not just Delaware.
Mostly Delaware, though, because you got to catch up.
Yeah, but everybody, thank you so much for sharing with your friends and family, and keep doing it because we'd love to keep growing. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
And don't forget, probably the beginning of next month, we're going to announce our Patreon, so be on the lookout for that. We'll have details, probably the first episode we release in September, of everything we're going to have to offer.
Maybe. Don't hold us to that.
Yeah, we'll see, but we're going to try.
August has been a terrible month, and it's only the 3rd day, so...
Yeah. Well, as anyone may be able to see, we have kind of ceased recording in advance for now, at least.
Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said what day it was.
Yeah, maybe, but
I apologize.
I mean, it doesn't matter. There's no illusion here.
But the pneumonia thing really sets you back.
Shingles and pneumonia back-to-back weeks kind of causes a problem. So we just record when we can. Mm-hmm. For 2 weeks in a row, we have recorded on Friday and released on Sunday. So that's what's going to happen this week. Good luck to everybody. I'm gonna edit as much as I can on Saturday. So if it sucks, it sucks.
It's not going to suck because we're awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're okay.
So you ready for a funny place name?
Mm-hmm. Give me a funny place name, please.
All right, tonight we're going to Waterproof, Louisiana.
Is that really the name?
It is. It's Waterproof, Louisiana.
Is this where they make frog togs?
It's not. Well, maybe. I don't think so.
I think that would be in the, I think you know that.
Think. No, so the first people to settle the area named it Waterproof and moved there specifically, because it was the only area in their region that didn't get flooded, like just devastating floods from the Mississippi River. It was just an area that historically never got flooded, so they were like, I'll be damned, what a place to build a town. So they did.
And then it got flooded.
And they called it Waterproof.
Oh.
No. The problem is, being waterproof isn't always a good thing, because in 2008, the area is big in growing corn and grains and stuff like that. And the drought was so bad in 2008 that they completely lost all of their crops. So
I'll bet.
Waterproof is sort of a double-edged sword when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of need a water source if you're going to have a town.
Yeah.
That's why
they had a source of water, but it just didn't rain, and they're not next to the river, so
yeah, that's why. I mean, it's the first thing you learn playing Sid Meier's Civilization is you want to build by some water for many reasons.
Game way too much.
No, just some.
All right, so we actually have another promo on the show tonight, and tonight it's going to be our friends from Dead Time Stories. They're 2 girls that are Southern belles, just like me, but they moved up north. We will not hold that against them much.
No, I'm actually really jealous.
Yeah, a little bit. So, like I said, I think you should give them a listen, because if you like what we do, you'll definitely like what they do. So here's their promo.
Yay!
Hey guys, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we're the hosts of
Dead Time Stories.
Dead Time Stories,
With a Z.
is a weekly podcast where we tell you stories of ghosts, hauntings, mysteries, conspiracies,
The supernatural, paranormal,
the generally eerie, spooky.
and all around weird.
If you like scary stories, witty banter, and classy broads,
We're your ghouls.
gals.
Some of our stories include Eastern State Penitentiary.
No.
And where is it?
Does it sum up 12? The Gettysburg Dime Museum.
They were like, show starts at 5, Mr. President. He was like, thank you, 5. No, 70. He was like, thank you, 5. Fort Mifflin.
So the Americans burned down their own fort. They were like, "Oh, you British
want this?
You want this?
Come and get
welcome
it."
to Philly."
And more.
New episodes are posted Thursdays at midnight on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Listen and subscribe, rate and review today.
All right, so are you ready for your very first story of the night?
I am, and I just want to say I thoroughly enjoyed that promo.
Oh, what a promo.
Very much. It was a good... Okay, well, that just wasn't necessary.
Sorry. All right, so tonight we're going to be going to Barstow County, Georgia, and we're going to be talking about the ghost of Alatoona Pass.
Alatoona Pass?
Alatoona.
I've heard of Altoona, not Alatoona.
It says Alatoona.
Okay, well, I believe you. I take your word for it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I've never heard of it.
Yeah. There's a Civil War battle there, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, is that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, like roundabout. But anyway, shot in the dark.
Immediately?
Yes. I'm sorry. These were really hard questions to weasel in because the stories just don't lend themselves to interesting facts. So, this is going to be a terrible, terrible, terrible question, and I'm about to ask it to you now.
I'm really looking forward to it.
So, what railroad ran through the Alatoona Pass?
The Alatoona Railroad.
Can I please give you answers?
Yeah, okay, go
Was
ahead.
it A, the Orange and Alexandria Railroad? Was it B, the Western and Atlantic Railroad? Or was it C, the Central Railroad of Georgia?
The one with orange in the title.
No.
Okay, well, I'll just take the shot because I wasn't going to be able to decipher that, so
It was
fuck it.
the Western and Atlantic Railroad.
Okay. There's nothing else in this story you could have made a question about.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. I tried. Either that or my
I don't think
prescriptions.
that you tried.
My prescriptions have me a little bumfuzzled, so if I'm a little off, I apologize. Go back and listen to a different episode. I promise I'm not this dumb all the time.
Oh, goodness. I've just never heard the word bumfuzzled, I don't think.
You've never heard the word bumfuzzled?
I don't think so.
I get bumfuzzled all the time.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going to take a shot, so
All right.
good luck to me.
Salute. Nice. Isn't it a lovely shot?
Oh,
Apparently not.
there's a good amount of vodka on the back end of that.
That's because it's vodka, love.
Oh,
All right, so you ready to hear the story?
yeah.
Okay, so this is a ghost story. Like I guess the title would have led you to believe, the ghost of Alatoona Pass. Anyway, so this...
Did you say a good story?
A ghost story.
Okay. You meant okay.
Yeah, so it has to do with the trains that go through the Alatoona Pass. And like I said before, the Western and Atlantic Railroads were the ones that were running through that area. So, you know, this is right after the Civil War ended, and they were starting service through that pass again. And the people that were employed by the W&A Railroad started seeing a mysterious figure riding along top one of their train cars as they go through this deep cut pass. And this is going to be a quote from the Atlanta Journal in December of 1872. All right. It says, for some months, railroaders, conductors, engineers, and brakemen have been noticing between Tilton and Allatoona that when their respective freight trains would enter onto that portion of the track named, that their number would be reinforced by an extra train hand, who, of course, the officers of the W&A Railroad cannot persuade to sign the death warrant. So basically, what that means is they done had themselves a ghost.
What? I don't understand the death warrant part.
Because they can't get him to go away. Like, he's not accepting his afterlife. He's just haunting the hell out of the top of their train, and they're annoyed about it.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll accept.
And it wasn't just a sporadic here and there. It was every train that went past this area. If it was going north, it would show up at one point and it would end at the end of the pass. If it was coming south, it would show up at that part and then come and disappear when they're out of that deep cut area of the Allatoona Pass. And he looked kind of weird. He was obviously a ghost, so full figure manifestation, but that sort of not so much that you couldn't tell that it was a ghost, but more lifelike than like Casper. You know what I mean? Like it was like a person, but they were just a little see-through.
Oh man, I miss Casper.
Wasn't that a terrible movie?
No,
anyway,
I loved that movie.
I did too, but it was objectively not a good movie.
I completely disagree. I thought it was an excellent young adult movie.
Hey Mitch, can I keep you?
That is the creepiest thing. It's the creepiest fucking thing.
That's the worst part of that movie. Anyway.
Oh.
Sorry.
No. That's the answer.
Yeah, so he was just sort of a semi-transparent kind of dude just up on the thing, and there was a really bad battle that was fought there during the Civil War in the Allatoona Pass that was very serious, and so a lot of people kind of thought that he might have been a Civil War soldier that died at that battle that had previously worked on the railroad, and he just was like, fuck it, if it's coming through here, I might as well work it. You know what I mean? So they even thought, well, shit, he's up here all the time. Maybe we should go try to collect a ticket fare from him.
Wait a second. They're trying to charge the ghost?
They were trying to charge the ghost, and he was, sitting on top of the car because that's where the brakemen sit on that type of train. And yeah, they went up there and tried to collect a fare. So here's another quote from that newspaper. It says, "The individual appears suddenly on top of the freight cars, takes a seat, and remains there for many miles. Then the unknown brakeman disappears. Conductors, seeing him, have often gone out to collect his fare, but on nearing him, he would vanish like mist."
So they couldn't get their money.
No. A little freeloading bitch of a ghost.
Castaway. It's a castaway ghost. It's Tom Hanks' ghost.
Mm-hmm. What?
Tom Hanks' ghost.
What does that have to do with trains?
It's a castaway, Leah.
That would be a stowaway, love.
Stowaway. That's the word I was thinking of. You're right.
Is that vodka hitting you already?
No, I've had 5 of the fucking front porch ales, but they're really good. But I forgot about that movie, that Tom Hanks movie, that Stowaway.
That's not the name of the...
Was it the late 90s or early 2000s?
Late 90s, I think.
When he got in the he got in the cargo area of the plane and stowed away to that fictional land in that airport.
Yep.
I'm just combining different movies now.
You are. It's weird. Maybe you should stop.
Come on, it's all, you know what I mean.
Okay, Mr. Drunkieson.
What was the name of that country that he was supposed to be from?
Do you know how long it has been since I have seen fucking Castaway?
Well, I've never seen the other one, the one in the airport, whatever that one was called.
The Terminal?
Yeah, the Terminal. I never saw that one.
I did.
Was it any good?
It was kind of boring.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad.
I mean, I remember seeing it as a child and like...
You weren't a child. You were a teenager.
No, I was not a teenager at the point that came out, I don't believe. Because I remember my parents renting it at Movie Gallery.
Well, I mean, there were still movie galleries when you were a teenager.
Yeah, but like it was like a legit... I'm pretty sure it was like a VHS kind of thing.
Ugh. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You can still get VHSs now. Not in a lot of supply, but
Okay,
you
can we
find them.
please go back to my ghost?
I want to figure this out. I want to know when you saw Terminal.
Okay. You want me to Google that motherfucker?
No, I don't care for that at all.
Okay, so back to our ghost.
The castaway ghost.
Yeah, so they were wondering, what kind of soldier if he was a soldier, where he'd come from, why he started appearing. Because he started appearing just about 7 years after the Civil War was over. So this is a pretty immediate ghost. Most of the time you hear ghost stories from hundreds of years ago. And this was like, 7 years ago. So it's a pretty, of the time kind of thing. And they really wanted to know who he was and what he was and why he was there, but they could never get an answer out of him. But they did try. So here is another quote.
Yay.
One night, an engineer on a freight train plainly saw the ghostly brakeman seated on top of the third car from his engine. He determined to settle the vexed question as to who he was, and accordingly left his engine in charge of the fireman and proceeded at once towards the mysterious object. The engineer approached cautiously, with both eyes fixed on the form of the man, but as he neared his ghost ship, he gradually faded from view, leaving the engineer completely bewildered. But who still tried to unravel his disappearance by passing over the entire train and looking in every place which was capable of concealing a man, but nowhere was the man visible. So he just fucking disappeared, like...
Yeah. He kept getting free rides and moving on.
Exactly.
Fucking asshole.
So, but there were dozens of workers that saw this thing, and it wasn't, like I said before, just, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. This asshole all the time riding this train for free. It's not nice.
Was he on every voyage? Do they call them train voyages?
I don't think so.
I think they might.
I think you've had a little too much vodka.
No, it's not the vodka, it's the beer.
Oh, I think you've had too many front porches.
But I think that they're called train voyages.
But anyway, so after the engineer.
The train man.
I'm sorry.
Train man.
After the engineer...
Are you four?
Shut up.
Mr. Train Man, can I come in the cockpit?
That's not what you call the front of the fucking train. We've derailed this conversation.
I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So the engineer was like, well, shit, I couldn't find him. That sucks. But as soon as he got back to his engine, he looked back and he saw that the guy was up on the roof again. Yeah. So like he had spent all this time searching this whole daggum train, going up, trying to find him, and as soon as he got back in his spot, ghost shows back up. Like, what a dick.
What a ghost dick.
I know.
Dick ghost, maybe.
So this engineer was like, okay, look, bro, I'm going back up there. I'm going to get this. So he got back up on top of the engine and he got closer and he got closer. And as soon as he had gotten, to the same spot, he disappeared again. So he was just like, well, fuck, and he gave up. But yeah, so he just, is this ghost that likes to freeload on trains. Yeah. Apparently.
It sounds like a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, and the ghost story was told for years and years and years, and all of the people that worked on that railroad told it. There were newspapers and magazines, and this ghost has been talked about all over the place, and they actually do still have trains running that route, but they no longer have train tracks through the Allatoona Pass because the Allatoona Pass is now the Allatoona Battlefield, and it is a public, like a national park, national historic park. Yeah. So
they don't build on it.
So there's no train tracks going through that anymore. Yeah. You can still hear the trains nearby as they go through the park, or go around the park, but there aren't any trains going there. So I mean, who knows
So he
if
doesn't hop on.
I was gonna say, who knows if the ghost is hopping on in the middle of the air and just sort of riding back and forth. But from what I could tell, it was actually the physical train that sort of tripped the switch, I guess, of the ghostly apparition. So my guess is he's probably not there anymore because he doesn't have a train to ride on.
What poor guy.
I know. But yeah, that was basically the end of the Ghost of Alatoona Pass.
Well, I enjoyed that one.
I'm glad you enjoyed that, sir.
Yeah. At least that ghost wasn't all touchy-feely.
Gross.
Wanted to get all up in people's business and shit.
Well, he had places to go, people to see, and he wanted to take the train and not pay for it.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
I mean...
Or her. I don't know.
It was a
Shit.
dude.
You don't know that.
Well, it was male presenting anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're right. I don't know the ghost life.
Thank you.
All right. So are you ready for story number 2?
I think so.
All right. We're going to Fort Lauderdale, Florida this time, and we're going to be talking about Flight 19.
Okay.
The disappearance of Flight 19.
I think I saw that on CNN a couple years ago. Is that right?
No, baby doll. This is from 1945. So unless you had a weird time slip, which is a possibility in this particular story.
Weird time slip.
Yeah, I don't think.
Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
All right.
But I don't think CNN was around back then either.
That's part of the time slip.
Yeah.
But
I took CNN back with me. That's it.
Ugh.
That's all I took with me.
What a thing to take back.
What a thing.
But yeah, so this particular story is very, very big and popular in the mysteries, paranormal, Bermuda Triangle, aliens, all sorts of weird shit. Excuse me.
Gross.
I hiccuped and burped at the same time. That was a herp.
Oh, that sounds very uncomfortable.
It was not fun. Anyway.
Ugh.
But it's a very popular story, and there are a lot of details, and it is all like sort of military details, and I'm not going to get every one of them, and I might say something wrong, so I apologize. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of podcasts and YouTube videos and documentaries and books. So if you want nitty gritty crazy details about this, go look them up. But right now, I'm going to tell you...
You're not getting that here.
Nope. I'm going to tell you the quick and dirty version of it, and we're going to talk about what could have happened to this mysterious flight. So are you ready?
Maybe.
All right, well, you're going to be ready because I'm going to start now.
I just wish that we would go into detail.
Well, we're going to have some detail, but I'm telling you, there have been books and books and like one podcast that I like called Astonishing Legends has like a 4-part series on this story. Like it's,
okay. Well, we're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that.
Exactly. So.
No, I actually, less detail the better. If we could do these episodes in about 10 minutes flat, I would be real happy.
I'm sorry, but we can't.
No. We don't need to do it that quick.
All right. So Flight 19 started out as a routine training flight for... a
3-hour tour.
No. Now, they were... the Air Force Base in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is where they are flying out of. It was December the 5th of 1945, and there were 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that were on this flight. And so each of those ships, not ships, it's a plane. So each of those planes, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. Each of those planes... has a 3-person crew, except for one of them who is down a person.
A 3-person crew.
But yeah, so they were down 1 person, but it can be piloted by just the 2 people. The 3rd person isn't absolutely necessary. So there were...
It's a stowaway.
What?
It's a castaway.
Yeah, there were 14 people on this flight. Let's just put it that way.
Well, they only needed 3.
But there's 5 of the planes.
Ugh.
The flight is like it's the mission, the group of people that are leaving on this flight.
Whatever.
So, yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
So they were going to practice a 3-hour exercise was all it was supposed to be. It was called Navigation Problem 1. So they were basically learning to navigate by this particular kind of trusting your instruments, compasses, and shit that I legitimately do not understand because it involves math, and I'm
good with not talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So they were basically just practicing bombing. So they, yeah, that's it. They were practicing navigating to get to their bombing target and then coming back, and it was going to be a triangular flight path. And so they were leaving out of Florida. They were going directly to a place called Hen and Chickens Shoals, which is where they would drop their practice bombs. And then they would make their way further, and they would hit over Grand Bahama Island, and then they would change direction and head back, go in the other direction, back southwest, to head back to Fort Lauderdale. So it was just a routine thing. Like Flight 18 had just left to do the same thing a couple hours before. Like this was a routine. Everybody was learning because there was the guy that was in charge of this particular flight's name was Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, and he was an experienced pilot. He was a combat veteran. He was good. He was the commanding officer, good to go, had done it plenty. The rest of the people on these flights had only logged about 300 hours in the air, which is not bad, but they're still training. That's what this whole thing was learning how to navigate for the bombers.
Yeah, I don't think you're a pilot at 300 hours, technically.
Well, I mean, no, they're pilots and all that, but I'm saying they're not aerial bombers yet. They're working on it, and that's what the whole point of this was. So at first, everything was going off normal. Like I said, Flight 18 had left before them, was doing fine, got back, they were good. So Flight 19 left at 2:10 p.m., and they made it over the Hen and Chicken Shoals just like they were supposed to around 2:30 p.m. and they dropped their practice bombs just like they should have, no problem. But when it came for them to turn onto their second leg of the journey, shit hit the fan, I guess, because for whatever reason, the lieutenant in charge, Mr. Taylor, or Lieutenant Taylor, excuse me.
Thank you.
Became convinced that his plane's compass was fucked up. It was malfunctioning, something was wrong, and he was worried that all of his planes, his fleet, had been flying in the wrong direction entirely. And it just kept getting worse from there. So the weather kind of went bad and brought in rain, which was not terrible, but it also brought in this really serious side wind that was hitting them, and he was worried that it was blowing them even further off course than he was afraid was happening in the first place. So he was very disoriented, and there was heavy cloud cover, and he was like just freaking out. So he got on that radio and he was like, and maintain in your mind, this is a group of 5 planes flying in formation, right? It's not just the one guy. It's all 5 of them. So he gets on that radio and he's look, I don't know where we are. And we must have got lost after that last turn. So there was, a few other planes and naval ships that could hear these transmissions because they were, they were all operating on the same frequency. So there was another Navy flight instructor that had been flying near the Florida coast on another mission, and he was the first to hear the patrol's radios for help, and his name was Lieutenant Robert F. Cox, and he heard their distress, and he immediately informed the Naval Air Station of what was going on, and then he contacted the Flight 19, the group of them, and he asked if they needed assistance. And so Lieutenant Taylor radios back to him and it says, both of my compasses are out. I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm over land, but it's broken up. I'm pretty sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down. Now, immediately that doesn't make sense to Lieutenant Cox because they shouldn't have been anywhere near the Florida Keys. They
that's a long way from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, they should have been flying over the Bahamas. And, so Lieutenant Taylor was really he's been flying out of Fort Lauderdale and Miami and all of the different areas around there. He knows what Florida looks like. He knows he's flown hundreds of these missions. He's a flight trainer, you know what I mean? And there's no way he should have been so disoriented after 30 minutes in the air that he can't tell the difference between the Bahamas and the Florida Keys. It's just weird. So he was kind of confused, but whatever. So he, under normal circumstances, when they were lost in the Atlantic in that area, the basic what you're supposed to do is, you're going to point your plane towards the setting sun and you're going to fly west until you find the land. That's
like
just
Texas, I guess, from there.
Well, no, like Florida.
The Bahamas are east, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
So
Whoops.
that's what they were trying to do. But for whatever reason, Lieutenant Taylor was convinced that he was out over the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. So he was hoping to locate Florida, but he made a weird decision and he was like, okay, we're gonna fly this sucker northeast, and it just took him further out to sea.
Yeah.
All right. And then apparently some of his trainee pilots were like, whoa, buddy, not okay. What are we doing? And one of the quotes was, damn it, if we would just fly west, we would get home. But apparently that just didn't happen.
So that was heard over the radio? Over the radio,
yeah. So like I said, there are lots of vessels and planes in the air that heard all of this. Now, obviously it was spotty and not everybody heard all of it, but from what they've pieced together, that's sort of what had happened. And so Lieutenant Taylor eventually was persuaded by one of the people on the flight to turn around and head west. But he was like, after 10 minutes of flying west, didn't find shit. So he turned him back around. And the quote that we've got from that at this point is, we didn't go far enough east. We may as well just turn around and go east again. So he got him turned around again. And some of the people that have investigated this even think that at this point, one of the other planes was like, fuck this nonsense, and they broke away from the group. But there's no real proof of that, but it is a theory. But, for the most part, they think that everybody just followed the commander's lead because he was the commander, and that's what you do when you're in the military. You follow orders. So the radio transmissions kept ongoing, but they became more and more faint as they got further out to sea. And then also as the sun goes down, radio frequencies carry a lot farther, but so does all of the terrestrial radio signals, the other interference. So it got much more difficult to hear after the sun went down. And one of the last things that they heard was Taylor basically telling all of his planes, look, shit's probably about to go down. If one of us has to ditch, we're all ditching. So the quote is, all planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together.
Okay.
And a few minutes...
No thanks.
Yeah, I know, right?
I didn't sign up for that.
No. And a few minutes later, they were never heard from again. It was just this staticky buzz, and they didn't hear him again. So after the Navy was like, well, shit, we've lost 5 planes and all of the people in it, we need to go search for these people because they probably, ejected and are floating in the water somewhere.
Doubt it.
Yeah. So the Navy immediately got search planes together to hunt for this missing patrol. It's a very, it's a large area of water, but it's not in the open ocean. It's not in the mid-Atlantic. It's a very concentrated area of water and land to search, and it's not small by any means, but in the grand scheme of things, there are enough information that you think that they could find this group of people.
Not if they didn't eject. And they just went straight down.
Who knows? But anyway, around 7:30 that night, a pair of PBM Mariner flying boats. I don't know what those are. I think they're the boats with the pontoons on the bottom.
I was wondering what you were trying to accomplish by saying it like that. But
I was just trying to get the right kind of plane. Anyway, but the flying boats took off from an air station right north of Fort Lauderdale, and just 20 minutes later, they vanished off the radar.
So the search plane left too?
The search plane left. It was Mariner. It had 13 crewmen, and it vanished off the radar, and they were never recovered either. So at this point, we're already missing the 14 from one and the 13 from this. So what's that, 27 people just
very good math.
Gone?
Very good.
Thanks. But so they do believe that this was less of a mystery because apparently the seaplanes that they were using were nicknamed flying gas tanks because they were really bad about catching fire. So the suspicion is, I know, why would you fucking keep flying those
don't
things?
Get in that plane. Say I'm not flying something called flying fucking flame ball. Thank you.
But yeah, so they kind of guessed that this plane went up in flames and, sunk. But they never found any kind of wreckage from that plane either. So the next day at first light, the Navy dispatched 300 boats and aircrafts to look for Flight 19 and the missing rescue Mariner boat plane thing. Plane boat.
Wait.
Excuse me, the PBM Mariner flying boat.
Okay.
Yeah, so the search party spent the next 5 days combing through 300,000 square miles of territory on land and sea, and they found absolutely nothing. So here's a quote from Navy Lieutenant David White, who was on the search party. It said, "They just vanished. We had hundreds of planes out looking, and we searched over land and water for days, and nobody ever found bodies or any debris." So the Navy was just bumfuzzled, like from before.
Oh my goodness, Leah.
Sorry. And they have no idea what was going on because, like I said, it was a routine flight that plenty of people had made before. There was no reason that their compasses should have malfunctioned. And even if one plane's compass malfunctioned, what about the other four? Everything was weird. It didn't add up. And that has caused a lot of really weird theories about what happened. So...
this is why people should not be allowed to make decisions.
Mitchell.
That's my point.
So, here's the shot in the dark.
Oh, God.
What 70s film featured Flight 19 being abducted by UFOs? Was it A, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, B, Alien, or C, The Bermuda Triangle?
I don't know of a movie called The Bermuda Triangle, so I'm going with that one.
You're wrong. Sorry.
Fuck.
It was The Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I've never seen that one.
It actually starts out the movie, and then they get abducted, and they end up putting the plane in the Sonoran Desert.
I've never seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, well,
I do know that Hooper from Jaws is in it, though.
I don't know that that's a kind of movie you would enjoy, but it's campy and fun. But you don't like older movies, and it's from like 78, 79.
No, the 70s, like, when I say older movies, I mean like the 50s. Like, I don't like most of those kind of movies. Yeah, I don't like old movies. The 70s are not really old movies for us, for people our age, people that are 30 and people that are almost 30.
I'm not 30.
No, you're almost 30.
No.
In woman years, you're basically 30.
Don't be a dick. All right. So,
I'm not.
like I said, in the 1977 film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the flying saucers took the flight and put them in Mexico because why not? Right?
Yeah, I mean, we know from Indiana Jones that that's where the aliens congregated.
Yeah,
was
definitely.
Mexico.
It was those crystal skull sons of bitches.
Yeah, the Incans and the Mayans.
It's their problem.
Yeah.
So there were... okay, so in 1945, like, there was other shit going on, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But in the 1960s and 70s, all those weird pulp magazines and paperbacks and all of that stuff started really catching on. And there was...
Shots kicking my ass. Ugh.
And there were some people that were making a lot of money doing the, in search of kind of thing, which I'm pretty sure there is an in search of about this. Because I remember seeing it when I was a little kid.
They took Sasquatch out to the ocean to search for it?
No, they didn't. But Leonard Nimoy sure did talk about it, and it was lovely.
Why do you say Nimoy that way?
Huh?
Why do you say Nimoy that way?
That's just the way I've always said it. I'm sorry.
It's Nimoy. It's not Nimoy. Is it? Is it pronounced Nimoy? And I've been saying it wrong with everyone else on the planet for all these years.
I don't know. Can we stop making fun of that and
It's
just
not
start
making
talking
fun.
about how the Bermuda Triangle could have snapped up?
It's not making fun. It's asking
These
if
puns.
you know something I don't know about the linguistics of Leonard Nimoy's name. Nimoy.
I say Nimoy, you say Nimoy. Potato.
You say potato. I say potato.
All right, so I wanted to tell you about some of the different theories that are out there.
All right. Fuck it.
Theory number 1. It was aliens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
They just crashed.
Yeah, they think that aliens just snapped those folks up and transported them off somewhere because who doesn't need 5 bomber airplane things?
Aliens do. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think.
They need some bombers.
All right, so another one is going to be that they were a victim of the Bermuda Triangle.
See, that's another thing. Do you say Bermuda?
No,
You just said Bermuda. Is it Bermuda?
It's
or is it Bermuda? I honestly don't know the answer to these questions. That's why I'm asking you. Is it Nimoy? Is it Bermuda? I don't know. I just have culturally learned how to say these words, and I don't know if I'm missing something. What's the answer?
I don't know. Sometimes I pronounce things weird because I think it's funny in my head. All right?
Okay, that's fine. I just maybe give me a warning or something, because
Warning.
now I'm questioning
I
my
pronounce
entire.
shit
Like, I'm
weird.
having an existential crisis over here
You've
about
had way too much alcohol.
how I have pronounced things for my entire life. All of this is happening all at once. I don't even know how to say my name anymore. Is it Lawrence? I don't know. God damn it.
We can
Tell
just
me.
change it to Kraft. That one's always the same.
I will always take on the Kraft name.
Nice. All right.
I'm not going to.
So, Bermuda Triangle, obviously, shit's been going on in that area for a long time, and ships get eaten and planes go missing, and maybe this is just one of those things.
Who eats the ships?
The triangle. Which is actually, if you look at it, it's more of like a parallelogram, but I guess the Bermuda parallelogram.
Well, yeah,
is
you
not-
can't say the Bermuda rhombus doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
You're right.
You know.
Yeah, so Yeah, people think it was the Bermuda Triangle. Then people also think that they got caught in a parallel dimension, which might be part of the Bermuda Triangle or maybe not. Maybe it's its own separate thing.
Yeah.
So they're thinking that some kind of weird storm happened and whoopty boopty bang, they're in a different parallel universe, and they're just like, well, shit. I still don't know where Fort Lauderdale is.
Yeah, is there a Fort Lauderdale in the parallel dimension?
Who knows? I don't. Their other thing is maybe it was a wormhole that opened up, because that happens a lot.
It does. Have you ever seen Interstellar?
I have.
Yeah, we saw that together.
So maybe they accidentally opened up a wormhole and ended up like some other fucking place that we just couldn't find.
They were in a bookcase 100 years in the future instead of in the plane over the sea.
Such a weird movie.
That sounds like a fucking Robert Frost poem, In the Plane Over the Sea.
No, that's a Neutral Milk Hotel song.
Is it? Is
In
that
an
what I'm thinking
aeroplane
of?
over the sea.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm questioning fucking everything right now. Where am I getting my
That used to be my
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that was that song.
What
Yeah.
a beautiful place I have found in this place.
Yeah, it's terrible.
We will fight over Neutral Milk Hotel. They are one of my favorite bands.
I'm all right. I'm not going to die on that hill.
Yeah. And
I'm
then
good.
another theory is that, okay, so there's this dude and he wrote this book, and anyway, he thinks that it was an electric fog that caused all of their instruments to go haywire and they flew off in the wrong direction. And he thinks that either like the electric fog caused some kind of time slip and put him in the wrong place, and they ended up going further out to sea than they should have, or
Well, they shouldn't have gone out to sea at all.
Dimension. This shit gets bizarre around this.
Is there such a thing as an electric fog?
I mean, I would assume that like there's electricity in the clouds, so maybe.
We gonna
Like, there's a
rock
lot of weird
down
area-
bog, electric in the fog.
There's a lot of weird anomalies in weather patterns and things that repeat.
Can like
and all that
lightning get
stuff.
stuck in the clouds that creates the fog or something? Is that maybe what it's talking about? And
I
it
think so.
wreaks haywire on the.
Yeah, on the electrical systems of the planes. So, I mean, maybe that's one thing. I don't know. But then another thing entirely, which is a little bit more down to earth, basically said that when they were interviewing some of the people that had talked to the pilots and stuff on board before they left on Flight 19, so the guy that was in charge, Lieutenant Taylor, showed up to the pre-exercise briefing a few minutes late, and he was like, look, I just don't want to take this one out today. Can I be excused? And they were like, no, you got to go train these people. Go on, come back. It'll be fine. And nobody really knows why he didn't want to go out on this particular trip. And some people think that maybe he had been up late the night before drinking and partying and doing something like that, which he wasn't really known to be one of those people, so maybe that's just as far-fetched of an idea as the aliens, but maybe he was hungover and was just confused as hell. Who knows?
Well, either way, this just doesn't make sense. Are they trying to say that him not wanting to go in the first place is something mysterious that needs to be investigated as well? Like he knew he had an eerie feeling
They
because magic is a thing.
Oh yeah, they bring that up all the time as a, you know.
I mean, how many times have you and I gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning and gone, I just don't want to go to work today?
All the time, like every day.
Yeah, but there are many days when we stay home, and not once have you or I gone to work and flown into the middle of the ocean. So I'm just saying, what is wrong with these people?
Do you know how far we live from the ocean?
Not that far. North Alabama is not that far from the ocean if we're in a plane.
But we don't fly.
Yet.
Okay, well, anyway, So in 1991, there were a group of like treasure hunters, like people that were looking for like shipwrecks and stuff like that. They found the graves of 5 World War II era Avengers. So like they found another flight that had gone down near Fort Lauderdale, and they were like, holy shit, we found it. But they looked at everything, and it turns out it was a different lost patrol. It was a different group of planes entirely. So they wouldn't actually find it. But that also leads to the fact that, I mean, obviously another patrol had gone down in a similar manner.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have crashed near Fort Lauderdale.
And
those people wouldn't
just
have.
didn't get as much attention as the other one, you know, for whatever reason. So, I mean, yeah, it's weird and it's strange, and I really like Bermuda Triangle stories, but I really just don't see where the paranormal thing comes in here. You know what I mean? Like, I am that person. I want it to be the weirdness. I want it to be the strangeness. And I have been like fascinated by these stories since I was a little kid because I watched so much In Search of. Oops. Sorry, Dad. But yeah,
Why?
That's just, I don't see any kind of paranormal. Like, it was unfortunate, and it is weird that they couldn't find any of the wreckage, but I mean, that happens a lot more often than you would think. I mean, even more recently, they've had all of these, like that Malaysian airliner that went down,
MH370.
yeah,
It crashed in the middle of the ocean. They never found any of it because it's at the bottom of the ocean,
yeah,
including all the
so,
people.
like I said, it sucks, and like I said, 27 people died. And they were never found, and that sucks. But like I said, I don't think that's, like I said, I want it to be aliens real bad, but I just don't think it is. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, because number one, it is literally never aliens.
It could be aliens.
Okay. It
That
could be
isn't-
aliens just the same as it could be me that did it. So yes, it could have been.
Are you an alien?
I might be. You don't know shit. You didn't ask to see my papers.
You're right.
So, look, it could always be aliens if you are willing to believe that shit.
But I am. But
They
that's what I'm
just
saying.
crashed in the ocean. That's
what I'm
it.
saying. I just love alien stories and weirdness, and that electric fog thing had me going for a while, but it just didn't pan out. I'm just like I said, there's some really interesting stories about the weather and some other interesting flights and stuff that happened around that same area, but I mean, just from the way this looks, the guy wasn't prepared for his flight and that training session, and shit went down, and so did they. Like, it sucks, but I'm afraid it wasn't an alien, and that makes me sad.
I mean, I don't think it was an alien.
No.
I think that this guy just spookily didn't want to get on the plane in the morning. That, by the way, was a fucking flying fireball.
No.
In the first place.
No. The fireball.
Oh, that was the search plane.
The search boat.
Yeah.
Plane.
My bad.
Plane boat.
Okay.
It was
So,
boat plane.
right. He didn't want to get on either way.
No.
So, what he did to get back at them was say, you know what, I'll just kill these 14 people.
And himself?
Yeah, well, 13 in himself. You're right. My bad. 13 in himself. And that was his plan, was, you know what, fuck these people. I'm done with this shit. I have a really terrible home life. He probably had the worst family in the world.
No, I mean, I just really think that he got disoriented, was confused as to where he was, made some bad decisions, and brought other people with him. Like, it's boo.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I agree.
that was the story of the Lost Patrol Flight 19.
Well, that was fun. It's not really lost, though. It's
But it is.
just,
They've never found the wreckage. They've never recovered
yeah,
the
you're not
bodies.
going
It's
to.
lost.
You know what happened to it. It's just,
But they don't
you won't find it.
definitively know what happened unless they find the
Sure.
wreckage. And so that's sort of where the mystery still lies. Like, if they could find the wreckage tomorrow, they could be like, nope, wasn't aliens, wasn't a wormhole,
Or
wasn't whatever.
They could find it and say it was aliens.
And they just put it back on the bottom of the ocean
Yeah.
really respectfully because they're good aliens.
Yeah.
Or
Well, who's to say that aliens are bad? We don't have any evidence of that.
Regardless, why would they put it back?
Why did they want it in the first place?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
If you were an alien, why would you abduct a squadron of bomber?
Mostly for anal probes.
Ew.
Mostly. But occasionally just for general, companionship.
Why do aliens have a thing with butts?
I think aliens like to play dominoes and or cards, could be either or. I think that aliens really like Candyland as well. So they just want people to sit with them and play the games, and then when they're done, they want to see what's in the rectum.
I did not follow that at all. Like, at all.
You're right. It wasn't Candyland. They played Don't Wake Daddy.
Gross.
A lot. Why gross? What's gross about Don't Wake Daddy?
Because you were talking about anal probes, and the whole point of that game is like the daddy just jumps up out of the bed.
You don't do shit to the dad's butthole in the game.
I know, but why else would you jump out of bed like that? Because alien is tapping at the back door.
Because your kids are being loud, and god damn it, I got to get up in the morning and go to work. So keep your shit to a respectable decibel level. God damn it.
My daddy used to say we needed to keep it down to a dull roar.
Well, you were definitely a loud child.
Yes.
I don't see you being loud.
No, I wasn't.
No,
I was a reader. I sat in my closet and read lots and lots of books.
Yeah, you're super lame.
Yep. But anyway, that was Flight 19. I hope it wasn't disappointing. And if you want more fantastical, interesting, lots of notes, Jesus Christ. Seriously, lots of other podcasts will talk to you about all of the other stuff involved. But, that was the high notes, y'all. Planes. Boat planes.
Well, they were called boat planes.
Plane boats. Boat planes?
Could they make a water landing?
Yes, that was the whole point.
Okay.
Because they would land in the water and then get the crewmen a raft or whatever until they could get a vessel in to rescue them. So yes, they did make sea landings. That was the point of those things.
Okay.
Anyway, so are you ready for your toast?
Is it just for me?
Yeah. No. Wait.
Nope. We're all right. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey.
We're getting the toast.
Hey. I want everybody to lift their goblets high into the air.
Yay.
We're going to toast the ghost of Alatoona Pass and Flight 19. Sometimes a brakeman just won't leave his post. Too bad you can't collect fare from a ghost. Don't let your flight paths get all in a tangle, or else you'll be zapped by the Bermuda Triangle. Drink.
What a stretch for the rhyme there.
Tangle and triangle rhyme, kind of. Shut up.
Yeah, you just need 2 more letters.
What letters are those?
R and I. Triangle has R and I literally in the middle of the word tangle.
Shut up, it rhymes. Leave me alone.
I mean,
I'd like to see you do better.
I don't want to.
Fine.
Deal.
Oh, so that was fun.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. This episode quite a bit. And thankfully, it's a good amount shorter than the last one.
Because I can't keep breathing through this.
Yeah. So, Leah's about to pass out. But it was worth it.
Yep.
For these good stories about
stuff.
Tom Hanks and Real Bad Pilot.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. I think that's accurate. Well, I've had a whole bunch of alcohol, so Leah needs to stop talking. It's time to go to bed.
Rude?
No, because of your breathing.
Oh,
because of your lungs.
You're right. It's fine.
Not shut the fuck up, Leah, but Leah, stop talking because you need to go to sleep.
Becoming a jerk, and I didn't know why. But
no, I didn't. That's not what I meant.
You were trying to lovingly tell me that I need to rest my voice.
Yeah, that was real loving. Real loving. Leah needs to stop talking. I say that with all love intended.
Oh.
Just cut it out.
Anyway.
But look, it's time to go to the outro. So, We want to thank you so much for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. Please like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Southern Spirits Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at S-Spirits Podcast. Send us any fun things like postcards or little trinkets and shit at P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama. That's Hartselle 35640. Also, we haven't been asking for it recently, but do get on iTunes and rate us and review us, because we would like that. And if you want any fun stickers mailed to you, you can review us on any of your social media platforms. That would be Facebook, or does Instagram have a rating thing?
No.
I don't know that it does, but Facebook does. I know that.
Yeah, you can rate us on Facebook. You can rate us on Stitcher or iTunes or anywhere that you can do that. If you can leave a review, that's great. If you don't have any of those things, whatever you do have, post something about us. Tell your friends how awesome we are. Screenshot that. Send it to me. You will get some wonderful stickers in the mail eventually.
They're fun stickers. They have our logo on them.
And you can share them with your friends.
They're
or
real
keep them all to
cute.
yourself as a little dragon hoard of stickers.
We need them out of this goddamn house. I know that, because we have so many of
It
them.
was a lot. I'm sorry.
But for real, we would love to give away those stickers. So review us somewhere, tell us about it, and you can get some stickers.
Yes.
So until next time, we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.